I'm Tina Halladay of Sheer Mag, and you're listening to True Philadelphia Podcast with Matt O'Donnell.
Halladay is the lead singer of the Philadelphia-based hard rock time machine known as Sheer Mag. What makes him so special? Halladay, for one. You listen to a track like this one, The Killer, from their latest album, A Distant Call, and you think you hear an uber-confident female rock star who is all glammed up and perpetually ready to take that perfect Instagram selfie. Tina Halladay does not fit that stereotype, and she is not even trying. A byproduct of her take me as I am attitude is influencing other young girls to embrace themselves as who they really are. Halladay does this without a hint of shallowness. It also helps that she fronts a tight as a vice band that digs into the blue-collar hard rock popularized by Thin Lizzy, Van Halen, Joan Jett, and Scorpions. I spoke to her in the Sheer Mag practice space in Southwest Philadelphia, where a SEPTA train goes by occasionally, and where other bands were practicing early that afternoon. You will hear them. Tina Halladay, frontwoman for Sheer Mag, one of the great up-and-coming Philadelphia bands. Right now on the True Philadelphia Podcast. Halladay from Sheer Mag. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
We're in the Sheer Mag practice space.
This is where we are.
And there is another band practicing right now. And they're playing some fast music. I mean, it's thrashing around.
Yeah. It's, we came on a lucky day. Usually when I'm in here, I think it's the same time as there's this cover band practicing. It's really god-awful, so... I prefer this, I think.
I really love your band. This is a real treat for me to meet you and talk about Sheer Mag. I want to tell you how I was tipped off to you guys, because I'm sure everyone has a story. It's not like you're on the cover of Rolling Stone every month.
Yeah.
But maybe that could be in your future. But anyway, I'm talking to John Baisley of Baroness. Mm-hmm. You familiar with them? And I was talking about the Philadelphia music scene. And I'm like, name some bands that, you like. And he named Nothing. It's a shoegazy band from, I think, Kensington. And then he's like, wait. And he runs up into his record collection, and he pulls out this 7-inch record, Sheer Mag. And he's like, you got to listen to this. And he's putting it in my face, and I'm like, here comes the train. And so I'm like, all right, fine. So I go to Bandcamp. I listen to your latest album. And my initial reaction was, this band sounds like they could have recorded this music yesterday or 1980, and I would have believed either one of those. Mm-hmm. There was massive authenticity. So what's your reaction to my reaction?
I mean, that's definitely, it's cool because the that record especially, I feel like it's like slowly moving forward, and people would probably say 70s about all the other.
Maybe early 80s, but yeah, 70s too, yep.
About like the 7 inches and maybe the first record. And I mean, there's definitely like a throwback aspect of it. I think it's more just like because we're trying to like be songwriters and write like kind of like catchier songs in this like genre that has kind of like people have like gone so far away from like that like original like rock sound where it's just like okay like verse chorus like it's like just so many other things, but we're just kind of like going back to the original like I feel like format and like idea of what like rock like and like guitar music was.
Is there a matter of simplicity that's involved with the presentation of the music that's important to you?
I think so. We try to keep it as simple as possible. We obviously sometimes get a little bit like since it's mostly just us recording a lot of the times, things get a little bit like circular and like we get in our heads because you don't have like a fresh perspective like
sure.
Saying like, oh, this is what this actually, because you're just so in it. But we try to keep it as simple as possible, I think.
So you're the vocalist of the band. You're a woman. And I kind of feel like that's really not that big of a deal anymore. Am I wrong?
I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal as much as like it's just such a talking point all the time, which is like fine. And obviously there needs to be a conversation around it, but it's still like a pain in the ass when you're at a venue and your picture is on the wall and they still assume you're the tour manager or the merch person. And
when's the last time that's happened?
Very recently. Like
really?
It happens all the time. Because
it must drive you mad.
I mean, I'm just like, sometimes I'll just be next to a poster of me. I'll be like, it's literally, and also, I mean, usually my attitude kind of like quells those like assumptions, but you know, it's just a really like sound guys and like guys who work at venues, like it's all like a lot, it's changing. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, this is cool. It's like a lot of different people working here, but so most of the time it's just like the surly like sound man who definitely didn't listen to your band and has been working there for like, you know, a really long time.
When you expect someone to come in with like a gun belt and, you know, big leather jacket and
or just like, you know, just doesn't expect it to be me like for being the front person of a band, and he's just like also just like trying to get people's attention, like when crews like setting up sound stuff, it's like no one wants to hear me, and I'm always like, do you have like this thing? And they're just like, what?
Do you have to prove yourself over and over again, do you feel?
Kind of. I mean, it's so back and forth. Like sometimes everyone's like, if they like know our band and like our band, and we, especially if we like have played there before, and this person we've like already done that and proven ourselves to them, we're like, oh, like we really like your band, like this is awesome, like I'm glad I worked tonight or whatever. Or it's just like, yeah, it's just like, can I like have a, like I just have to tell you I'm using my own mic, or trying to tell you like the vocal effects, or it's just hard to get people to pay attention to you.
I feel like people pay more attention to having stereotypes these days, and they're with that awareness, they're trying to not put things into a box that they expect.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Sometimes it's just such a male-dominated like area. Like it's either like just like dudes who've been working at a venue, doing sound, setting up mics, whatever, that have been doing it there for like 10 years, or it's like fresh-faced like college students who just started working there, and they're actually the worst ones. Even if it's like women or whoever, it's like sometimes they're the worst ones because they need to like, they feel like they have to prove themselves and be like kind of like snippy with you, and I'm just like, can we just like all do our jobs and be like normal to each other?
Well, that would be nice. So you're not from Philadelphia. You are from Long Island.
I'm from Long Island.
And you and the band all went to SUNY Purchase for college. And you were fooling around, I guess, with playing in a band. And everyone decided to come to Philadelphia. Why?
Well, I moved here in 2009. And I moved here with my other band before this one. Because everybody moved to like Brooklyn, that went to our school.
Because that's what everyone did. Right?
Yeah, everyone did that. Also, we went to school like 30 minutes from New York City, so it was like very familiar. And a lot of people are from there or around there because it's a New York State school. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I can't afford to move to New York, and I don't want to like work every second. I want to like be in a band and like have fun. So I was like, oh, like my friend, he says that he lives in Philly and rent's like really cheap. Like we should just all move there and like.
That was the primary reason.
Yeah,
because you're starting out in a band, you don't necessarily make a whole lot of money.
Yeah, so rent is cheap. You can just work like part time or whatever you could work, but you're just like, you can afford to live here and not just be like constantly grinding to like exist. Are
you glad you came to Philadelphia?
I'm glad.
How come?
I just don't think I would have been able to do this, Sheer Mag definitely wouldn't have happened, and I don't know. I just feel like it was the right choice, and I'm glad that I didn't just move to New York. I feel like I would just be like, I would just have a really like intense like job that maybe I didn't like and like would be working it all the time because I'm really bad at getting jobs.
So you would have been angry about your job that's not paying you enough to afford your rent, and it would have just clouded everything too, right?
Just like
You're
going
much
to
happier
expensive bars every weekend, and that's like it, Yeah, I'm happier here.
Good. We're glad that you're here.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Sheer Mag. For people who've never heard your band, do you have like your little elevator speech of what you sound like, or do you just say, go on and listen to it to yourself?
Well, mostly when people are like, well, what kind of band is it? I'm just like, rock band. Like, I'm so bad with genres, and also, like, I kind of hate them. It's stupid. Like, I obviously have to use them with certain things, but when it gets, like, all specific and, like, I'm just like, what is this? Like, I remember, like, iTunes has, like, the like the genres, and I'm just like, what is acid jazz? It's always, like, the first choice.
Oh, is that, like, it's because
it's alphabetical order?
Acid jazz. That would be, I couldn't even think of a band who'd fall into that thing. Huh.
But, like, yeah, it's always, like, stuck in my head because alphabetical order. Sure, just, like, acid jazz is first. But I just, like, I'm not super into, like, ultra-specific.
Let me tell you who I hear. I actually wrote a couple of them down because, you're not a tribute band, but you definitely have a lot of influence from the 70s and the 80s. Like, I'm hearing and seeing, like, Scorpions. I know you get a lot of Thin Lizzy, and it's because of the twin guitar things going on. But, I can kind of see that. Like Van Halen, Kiss, AC/DC. You ever heard of Aldo Nova?
No.
Oh, Aldo Nova. He had this guitar that used to shoot laser beams in his videos. It was really cool. But like,
I just tell Kyle about that.
Aldo Nova. But like when I hear you guys, I just hear a band that has all bought into the same idea. Am I in the right ballpark here?
For sure. A lot of it, like especially the guitar sounds and like the feel. I feel like the feel of the songs have a lot to do with what Kyle's listening to. And I feel like he'll get more into those kinds of bands for sure. And like also like so much more. And that's like I think a lot of what he's listening to influences the style of the songs. Like they're all recognizably Sheer Mag songs, I feel like.
Sure.
Like we do have a sound, but it is influenced by like what we're listening to and what's like just like going on like in the moment, like with us, like what's just like influencing that, like it's just so like in that moment, like what's going on around us. This is like where they practice, like we'll move and anyone's stuff. This is like all the gear from different bands. Matt's old mattress.
Of course. It's a shrine now, right?
So here, this is like where all of our merch is. We mostly do mail order our our guy Mila does it mostly in Portland now. We just moved most of our stuff there, but this is like our stockpile. You can see I have a couple orders to do.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the DIY thing, right?
But,
What's Sheer Mag? What's the name?
Kyle thought of it. He was doing like his senior project about like a fake rock band in college, like kind of like doing like graphic design and a bunch of stuff like based around it. His like senior project thing. But then afterwards he was like very in this like stadium rock, I feel like, mindset because of that.
And so you just felt like the combination of those two words said that.
Like sheer magnitude, like It
Ah.
was just like, oh, like.
Because my thing was like, is this like the Cro-Mags? Is this like a hardcore punk band?
No, people really like to say like, they don't sound like the Cro-Mags or sheer terror. And I was like, why would it? Like, what is that? What you want? Like people to combine two weird band names and then.
Two very good bands, by the way.
Yeah,
very
they
good.
want us to combine two bands and then sound exactly like a mixture of those.
What was your gateway band when you were a child and you were just getting into rock and roll? Like what record or tape or whatever, however you were listening to albums that back then? What was it?
I feel like it's so strange, like my like relationship with music, because I didn't really have anyone like showing me what to like. So I was like super like when I was very young, like TLC and like Notorious B.I.G. like cassette tapes and like the first really like rock band, I guess, cassette tapes I had were like Sublime and Green Day or something, you know.
Yeah.
But then when I got older and like I feel like I really like developed more like, because then I was super local in high school. I was like local bands because I would want to go out into the shows, and obviously Long Island does not have, like rural Long Island doesn't have a lot of options for that. So it's like lots of emo and just mostly male dom. Like there was like maybe one band with a woman in it, and they were just like with all the like guy bands all the time. But then I got to college, and then it was like this whole world opened up because I heard like Otis Redding and like Sam Cooke and just like
The greats.
yeah, and I was like, okay, and like Steely Dan all the time and just all of that.
So you got into more sophisticated music,
Yeah.
right? And then when was it like, oh, I'm going to sing now? Because you say you're not musically trained.
No, I always wanted to sing, but obviously like I would just like hang out and be like in high school and be like, I'm here.
Were you in the back of the class mostly?
Yeah.
So was I.
I was like fine, like no one like I obviously had like a couple people who were just like, you're weird, I'm gonna make, or like maybe like I don't know why I'm like, I feel like with boys, especially if they were like, I'm attracted to you, but I can't understand it because you're fat, so I'm just gonna like lash out at you, and it's just like, just leave me alone.
Wow.
There's nothing like.
Was that
I'm
a
not
problem in
doing-
high school?
Not really. I mean, like mostly I was well liked, and it was fine because it was such a small high school.
If you went to a big one, you think it would be a different story?
I think I would have had like I would have like found my crew earlier, but it took me till like 11th grade to find like people in like different grades that we were all like a bunch of weirdos, and then we were just like a pack of weirdos like wandering through the town like at 10 at a time, you know. But
we talk about, like what a rock star is supposed to look like. And, not many people look like you who are on stage. But a lot of people who probably listen to your music or who could listen to your music do look like you. Mm-hmm. And some people are comfortable with the way they look and others are not. And I feel like you're very comfortable. Is that true?
yeah, I mean, it took me a very long time, and it took me a long time to be able to find, also like, there's so many factors in that. Like, it took me a long time to be able to find clothes that made me feel comfortable, because they don't make clothes for fat women that like aren't like covered in like Mickey Mouse and like or like
Hello Kitty.
Yeah, it's just like it's either really like frumpy and old person clothes or like cosplay
Yeah.
outfits, and I'm just like, I don't want to wear this. I used to have to like alter everything I wear, like cut it up or like sew something onto it, but I
Makes you
found
kind of feel alone that you can't walk into a store and there just literally is no clothes made for you.
I mean, it's still like I usually just like get most of the things I wear online because they don't have it in the store. And it's like I never like was able to go out and like try something on. I mean, it's a little bit better now, but yeah. But it's funny because my mom at the shows, she's like, all these girls were up front and they were dressed just like you. I'm like, it wasn't like my idea to like wear black and like have like winged eyeliner, Mom. These girls like these people exist. I'm not like a complete original.
How neat is that though? That you look down on the stage and girls look like you.
It's cool. I mean, I also I can't take. I'm like, Mom, it's just like it's like when she saw a metal. Like a metal, when we play with Power Trip, she was like, they all look like Johnny, who's my brother. He has like super long hair and like is like a metal like looking guy. Sure. And I was like, yeah, Mom, other people exist in the world that like don't wear like, I don't know, outfits from like whatever, like Lane Bryant or like Target. I don't know. It's fine, but like, yes, we're not like, me and Johnny aren't like the only people that are not wearing these like outfits that you expect everyone to wear or whatever. I guess it's because we're from a very like straight-laced town where everyone's like, there's like golf courses and wineries and everyone's wearing like polo shirts.
Bucolic America.
Yeah.
So do you think you're putting a dent in the stereotype of what a female singer of a rock band needs to look like, or just what a female person needs to look like?
I mean, obviously, just existing when you're not like a white man in that kind of dominated white. I mean, that's the whole world, but just is like inherently political and like you're trying to make a statement, but it's just like what I feel like I'm good at and meant to do, and if that comes with it, then I will gladly like take that responsibility on.
Okay. Let's talk about politics. I feel like you should be a political analyst. Can I tell you why?
Sure.
So back in last year, October of last year, so Bernie Sanders used one of your songs at a rally, Expect the Bayonet, kind of a forceful political song that you guys sing. And your band released a statement about Bernie Sanders using it, and you said, and again, this is last year, it's in October of last year, we believe that he, Sanders, is the best hope in generations for the left and the only viable candidate to beat Trump in 2020. Now, at that time, Joe Biden was like, there's no way he's not going to win the nomination. And that's kind of the way it looks now. But there was a period where everyone was like, it's Bernie's to lose right now. And so why did you guys see that back then?
I think that we're all fans of him in 2016 as well. And we're very like, a lot of our political ideas come from like feeling that the working class of America is being like stomped on and just exploited in general. We all have different political like ideas, but that one is one that we all have in common. And he's the only person talking about it. Like even the conversations that they're having in these debates, none of those conversations would be happening if Bernie Sanders wasn't on that stage. Like, they wouldn't be talking about Medicare for all or, like, climate change to the extreme that they are and, like, just, like, working families and racial injustice. I feel like he's pushed those conversations so much more. And it's not just like, I can beat Trump. No, I can beat Trump. It's like all these problems existed before Trump and are going to exist after. And... like, I don't know, electing some centrist, like, person who's like, I can get both parties to agree is not, like, the thing that we need.
The safe choice.
Yeah, and it's not safe. It's like, you're not inspiring anyone. Joe Biden, I also feel like that's crazy that his family and his, like, people around him are letting him, he has dementia, it seems like. His brain is, like, I don't know, it seems like it's deteriorating before our eyes, like,
Well, I mean, he does have the stuttering thing, which he's talked about.
Yeah.
And he's been prone to gaffes. But I don't know if he is 77 years old as well.
Yeah. It just seems like he's not, like all there within his, like, mind. I mean, it's just, it's kind of upsetting. Like, that's what I view when I see him, like, on a stage or, like, talking. It just seems like something is, like... They haven't done the, like, I read that like they did all the like physical tests, but they didn't do like a cognitive recognition test for him. And I just feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm being
Apparently,
like
they did with Bernie Sanders and his heart. They wouldn't release his medical records.
Yeah.
I think we're talking too much into politics right now. Let's talk about music
All right.
again.
I just get.
Do you
it's
consider yourself a political band? Because you sing a lot about it.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
and you say working class. Like I almost feel like there's a punk instinct with Sheer Mag.
it is. I mean, just mostly because we're a DIY band, and that's like where kind of punk is different from other kinds of music. Like, I feel like people are just trying to play at like established venues and like work with booking agents or whatever. We do that, but in the beginning, it's like we're booking our own shows and we're playing in people's houses, and no one's taking money from the band. They're doing it for the love of like music and the scene that they're creating, and like that's where we like started playing shows. And
does the DIY thing kind of bleed into what you address in your lyrics and what you sound like?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's even like in the way that we record, we do most of it ourselves, and it's just like, it's practical to us because it's like not, I don't know, just like doing things, it's obviously cheaper. You can do it the way you want to. You're not being influenced by someone else on how you should sound. No one's telling us what to do. No one's telling us when to release our music. We do that ourselves. Like, we have our own label. And it's just like, it's a little more like work, I guess, but it's just worth it.
Because you own your music. Mm-hmm. A lot of bands these days, look at what Taylor Swift, for example, has gone through with her back catalog. Some of it she apparently can't play anymore. So, you
that's
don't
just
have
like
that
that's crazy.
Like, these are her songs. She can't play them anymore.
Like wild to me. Like, why, who, what, how do you, I just don't even understand it. Also because I don't understand that aspect of the business, because we've never like really participated in it.
You release 7 inches. Are you a big records person?
Yeah, we have everything on vinyl.
You like the sound?
Yeah, I mean, we like the sound, and like just like having that physical thing is nice. And it's not like a CD, which I feel like I stopped liking CDs when I lost my entire CD booklet on the bus. So I'm never.
How many CDs were in?
Dude, so many. I was so
hundreds?
upset. It was like a huge one. I was like, I don't think I've bought a CD since then. But it's just like, it's a nice thing to like have in your home and like look through them, and it's like also like a cool thing to like hang out with your friends and go through records and listen to them. I obviously love like listening to music on like my phone and like the internet and all that, but it's just a different thing to like physically like go through these
more
like little
art
yeah.
when it's presented that way, and it's more of community.
Yeah.
Where you sit around the record player and you share it with other people.
It's just like it's cool. It's a cool thing to have, and I just feel like it's like, and I mean cassette tapes. We also make cassette tapes. Mm-hmm. It's just like a thing that also lasts.
Yeah.
If you like take good care of it.
Yeah, like all these digital things. We have a big solar storm, and it's all wiped out. All the magnetics just disappear, and you'll have the same situation you had on the bus.
Yeah.
Where's all my digital music? It's all gone. You have, when you sing, we know it's you. Mm-hmm. You are unique, and to me, you kind of sound like Belinda Carlisle of the Go-Go's on a motorcycle with a leather jacket and a little Joan Jett thrown in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely an in-your-face kind of thing. What goes into your mind when you first started recording with Sheer Mag? What did you want to sound like?
I mean, I didn't like I wasn't like, it wasn't a conscious like decision really. I was listening to like a lot of like obviously like Thin Lizzy, and I was listening to a lot of the Runaways.
Yeah, so there's Joan Jett.
Yeah, and just like AC/DC and Girl School, and just like bands like that. But I didn't like try to. I wasn't. It just kind of came out that way.
It's the way you sound.
I was always I also was singing, like, the first time I weaseled my way into a band in college. It was because my friend was playing his, organ, and he was playing, like, Sam Cooke songs, and I was like, I'm going to sing these with you. But, like, so it came a lot from, like, soul music. Oh, sorry, I'm messing with them.
It's okay.
And, like, a mixture of that and rock music. And then, like, this band is a little bit more, like, rock than my old band was, like, more, like, soul influenced, but still, like, a rock band.
The vocals are really high in the mix too.
Yeah, for the new record for sure. The other one's not so much.
Why was that a choice made?
I think it's just the lyrics are so intentional and like there's a story within them that it was important to be able to hear them.
A lot of the lyrics talk about your father, who I know is no longer with us, and it's out there that you had a very difficult upbringing because he was abusive towards you and your mom. There's some alcoholism involved. Mm-hmm. When I look at you now, you seem like a kind person who is, I mean, look at us. We didn't know each other 10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We're sitting here on your couch talking, but I'm sure that your upbringing did have an impact on you in ways that you've struggled at times, right?
I mean, of course, there's all like I can go into like psychological, like things I've like analyzed about myself, just like my relationship with men and like and friendships and just like everyone around me. But I mean, I think that one of the biggest things about like being able to cope with like all that is like I went to a counselor, like a therapist, when I was like after all that happened. I was like the only one who didn't refuse to go, and my brothers and sisters, and I like was a very like emotional child. I'm still like an emotional person, but to be able to talk to someone about that was like very important, and did not feel like isolated and like there was something wrong. I think that's like a huge part of that. And
that's
I think
kind of a lesson learned right there.
Yeah.
Seek help.
I mean, it's just so people get so like worked like so tight about people being like, maybe you should talk to someone. It's not like I never thought it was like shameful. It just seems like logical to me. Like someone that's not involved to listen to you. Like it's just like it's a very like straightforward transaction. I feel like. And most of the time it was people, I feel like it wasn't like a high-paid therapist, it was someone who genuinely wanted to help people.
Someone who listened.
Yeah. It was like a family counseling center. It's like not like we don't have money to pay for someone like some like shrink, like therapist or whatever, like high-paid person to like pretend to care about your problems. It was someone who genuinely wanted to help people, so.
Is it therapeutic to write lyrics about this?
Yeah, I mean that has always been like a story in the back of my mind that I wanted to write. Like I wanted us to write a song about. It just like took. I think it's Matt. Matt like composes the lyrics and like makes the actual like. As much as like maybe the story is mine, and I'll like, especially for that song, I just wrote down like pages and pages of like all the horrible things that happened, and like he was the one who like organizes those thoughts and writes them out so they can be like first chorus, like bridge or whatever.
Sure. And so. Matt Seeley, your bassist.
Matt Palmer.
Matt Palmer. Okay.
He's a rhythm guitarist.
Rhythm guitarist. How do you come up with stage banter, or is it just?
I'm very bad at it.
I was listening to one gig you were doing in New York City, and it was in Brooklyn, and a snare drum went out in the drum set, and you started talking about how in Philadelphia we're 8s, but in New York City we're 4s.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. That was actually at the Burger Boogaloo in Oakland, and that was because John Waters introduced us as being from Brooklyn instead of from Philadelphia.
So you were correcting that.
Yeah, and I'm really bad at stage banter.
But it became funny.
I was kidding. This man actually emailed, like, I think it was like an old South Philly Italian head, like, was like, you lost a fan that you said that mean stuff about Philly. I was like, all of that stuff I was saying with complete, like, love and admiration.
I completely understand. What you were saying is that, like, Brooklyn's a totally different deal. We here in Philadelphia have to work for things. We have to work harder for them. And so, therefore, there's a grittiness to everything we do and to the way we look.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I hate it. I hate everybody because it's just like all the hottest people in the world all like moved to New York City, and it's like I don't know. And then I was like, well, yeah, I said like we're in Philly we're hot, like, but in New York we'd be like, whatever. But I didn't mean it in like it definitely was. It was a really fun time and I had it really. It
said so much, and there was so much authenticity.
Yeah.
With the banter, and it just so you don't come up with some lines and go with it. You just whatever.
I really embedded it, and I don't. A lot of the time, I say nothing, and my band's just like, you need to talk 3 times, like, like we're gonna stop here to tune. Like this is when and I'm just like, I don't want to. And then he'll like before we play, he's like, did you think of the things you're gonna talk about? I'm like, no.
It's like your homework.
Yeah, it's so stressful. I'm just like, I'm not a stand-up comedian. I don't want to do this. Like, I just don't have it. I want, like, the music to, that's my, like, excuse. I'm like, I'm not a stand-up comedian. The music speaks for itself. Like, I just really, like, I don't know. I need to just do it more. I'm obviously good at
We've been talking.
And I'm good at talking with my friends and trying to be funny all the time, but
I'll give you some one-liners. How about that? I'll write you some material.
Yeah, I do. I need someone to write my material. I'm just like, I just get frozen. I'm just like, I don't know what these, like, because I also mumble when I'm on the microphone most of the time. I'm trying really hard to, when I try to, like, do a joke, I just, like, don't follow through. It's just, like, the wrong way. Talk to anyone about stand-up. You need to think that you're funny for it to be anyone else to think it's funny.
How do you win over a crowd that you're up there and you're like, I don't think they dig this?
I mean, it doesn't happen too often anymore, and I never really remember it happening much until we went on tour with Power Trip.
And now, for people who don't know, this is like a high-powered, thrashy metal band.
Yeah.
Like, they play fast music, they shout and they scream, and a lot of critics love them.
Yeah.
They do an authentic version of, like, the 80s thrash, right?
And they're, like, very good friends of ours, and we went on tour with them and 2 other bands for a bit, and it's just like this is a band that plays with like Cannibal Corpse and like just like people who like love metal and just like very like
they don't have many
hard music, which is some of that music I like as well, but these are people who they come from that like super metal like. They heard of Power Trip because they saw them at a fest with Anthrax and Cannibal Corpse and whoever else, and we're like direct support. So we're opening right before them, and all these people are leaning on the barrier, like scowling at you, and they're just like, "What?" They have no idea what to do with me.
So how did you get through that night?
It was a whole tour. A lot of times we won people over and. It was cool, but sometimes, there's like a person in the crowd pretending to shoot themselves while
and
you're playing.
See that, and you have to keep going. How do you block that out?
I mean, I was just like, go to the bed. Like, also, I know you're a poser and like a dumbass. If you're standing, you can go to the front in between bands. You don't need to stand there the entire show. Like. You suck at this. If you're standing here for my set that you are literally like is killing you to watch, like you can leave. Like you can go get a drink. You can go.
So you blow it off.
I'm just like sometimes I mostly blow it off, but sometimes I'll like yell at them, and I'll be like, "Get out! Like go over there! Like you are an idiot! Like what are you doing?" Or I'll just kind of like I don't know. I do a lot of different things. To deal with
sounds like it's all
people.
Pretty spontaneous and driven by whatever emotion is running through your head at the time.
It's really funny because a lot of the times it's kind of like people who aren't very intimidating or they just kind of seem like they don't like see a lot of live music doing those kinds of things. But then other times it'll be like a giant man with like a shaved head who looks like he's gonna like beat us all up. We'll just be like, I love your band so much. And I'll be like, this weird guy's like near me. Like, what is he gonna do to me? And then he's just like, I love your band. I'm so excited to see you.
People don't always act the way they seem.
Yeah,
right?
Which is like, I mean, obviously, I know this, but sometimes when there's like a giant, intimidating man like near me, like doing the thing, but I just like don't. I'm really bad at knowing when people recognize me and like want to just talk to me. I'm always like, is this guy messing with me? Like, I have to punch this guy in the face? Like, what do I do? But it's just like someone who wants to be like, hey, I really like your music. I'm like, all right, see you later.
What other Philly bands do you really like? I know there's a blossoming music scene going on here.
What other Philly bands do I like? I like all my bandmates have other bands. I love their bands. Grave Turner, Kylan Hart have kind of like a more metal band, and Matt has a more power pop band called Smart Hearts. They have another band. I think they're kind of done. The Guests is like a goth band that they're also in. It's all very incestual, the band members in the specific scene I'm in. But there's lots of really cool bands just like starting out. The Ire is a really cool band that they actually opened up our show at Union Transfer the last time we played there.
IRE, the Ire.
I get so like I go blank when this question arises.
Me too. What's like your favorite hangout place around Philadelphia? Where do you like to go?
It's there's like DIY. There's a certain like place we have DIY shows. That's like a bar in West Philly that almost every show is at. I don't want to blow up their spot, so I won't say the name.
Well, you don't have to. You don't want to give out the secret.
If I'm going out, it's probably there or like where else? I mean, I don't know. I don't really go out that much in Philly because I'm never here. But if I'm going out, it's probably to the place where the DIY punk show is that weekend.
You fit in best there.
Yeah. Or like we've been having fires since it got warm out down kind of by the Schuylkill and another spot that I can't like divulge because it's probably not allowed.
You know all the secret spots around
I know the
here.
Secret spots.
You're not even a original Philadelphian.
There's this building that we're in also has like a lot of things like shows and parties that I go to once in a while. And then we end up in here, and hence all the beer cans that we moved before. But, yeah.
Tina Halladay, Sheer Mag, you're going to Australia.
On Sunday.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Make sure you eat well. Get some rest. Do you do all that stuff on the road?
Yes.
You take care of yourself.
I take care of myself. I try to.
Because it's hard.
I'm actually the one who's been trying not to drink the most. So.
Okay.
And they're all like, why aren't you hanging out and partying with us? I'm like, I don't know. I just like need to not get sick and need to be able to play these 1 million shows in a row.
This is the most important instrument for you, so you got to keep that going. Best of luck with Sheer Mag and its success, and you're making Philadelphia proud.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on the True Philadelphia Podcast.
No problem. Anytime.
Thanks to Tina Halladay. Good luck to her and the rest of the band during their tour of Australia. Thank you for listening to the True Philadelphia Podcast. And now another song from Sheer Mag's latest album, A Distant Call. This is the lead track, Steel Sharpens Steel. Stay true, Philadelphia.